Hello and welcome to another episode of Dinks with Kinks. Hey guys, how you doing? I'm your host,
Hello.
John Dondero, and with me, the very illustrious Miss Rebecca.
Oh, I'm illustrious now.
Oh yeah,
As always.
and the very mysterious, very smooth-toned Mr. Shep.
Good evening.
He's got smoothness everywhere else, too.
Oh my.
Like baby smooth. I just rub it down with the baby oil.
Smooth operator.
All right, before we get into tonight's episode, I do want to remind everyone to follow us on social media at Dinks with Kinks. We're on Instagram and Twitter. Even though Instagram hates us, we're still okay with it. We love it. We also have a Patreon, and the link will be in the description. You can go there and get bonus footage. Some stuff from this episode. We're going to have some bonus footage for that. So go and check it out. And, you know, if you're already there, welcome. You're hearing this way earlier than everyone else because Patreons get early access. What?
And you know,
Come
as
early.
soon as Patreons kind of get played out as a thing, we're going to come up with a new one. Patreoff.
Oh, I call them Kinksters. Like, you're not my Patreons, you're my Kinksters. Hello, cats and Kinksters. How are we doing out there tonight in podcast
Oh
land?
my.
No.
All right, so what are we talking about tonight?
Wane.
We are discussing Vore tonight.
Are you sure it's not
That is-
Vote?
It is not vote, even though my autocorrect did change it when I texted you earlier.
What to say?
Every time
Who?
every time Rebecca texted me over the week asking a question about Vore, she'd be like, "So we're talking about vote, right?" And I'm like, "Oh yes, the hot fetish of voting. Oh yeah,
I mean, those naughty women who wanted, have a voice.
women's suffrage turns me on."
Show me that ankle.
No, we're talking about Vore.
I'd pay
and
for
this
some
is-
ankle.
This is a topic I know a lot about, and whew, it's a doozy. I'm gonna say
This is the topic I
Voristic?
did not know anything about until this past week, and I can just say I got an education. That was something I had
Did
no
it
idea
eat you up?
existed. It ate me up inside that I had no idea.
well, then I think you're on the right path because vorophilia is actually called, is often shortened to the word vor, and it's paraphilia categorized by the erotic desire to be consumed or to consume someone or by someone, i.e. a person eating another person or a person eating me, or a furry eating me, or a plant eating me. Sometimes not always with the mouth. Oh, yes. Shep, you have some experience with Vore, don't you? You've heard some stories, haven't you?
I've actually not heard much.
Ah,
Just
because-
just that my other half was eaten in the past.
yes. By my
Under
Muppet.
your watch, in fact.
Yep.
I mean, I've been eaten in the past, but not like that.
Definitely not like this. For those of you who don't know, I used to own a clip for sale store named Devil Clown Productions, where we specialized in a particular type of Vore, i.e. the monster eating the lady. We had a giant plant puppet, very similar to Little Shop of Horrors. And it would usually gobble up the girls, and they'd be like, "Oh no, don't eat me! I don't want to be eaten." But we'd eat them anyway. That's because what we did. And Mr. Shep's significant other was one of my models, and it was a lot of fun, and it was silly.
Silly Willy.
I did not come across the silly ones. when I was
If you're on our Patreon, you'll see some of them. Oh, and then they're very serious acting, but like behind the scenes. And I usually always try to post the raw, unedited stuff so you can kind of see behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, we had so much fun. I mean, that was the most fun fetish shoots I think we ever did because it's literally we're working with a giant puppet that's gobbling girls, and someone has to work the puppet while catching the girl, and sometimes the girl would have to.
Is that your puppet fluffer?
Yeah, We had a
Your
puppet
puppet
fluffer.
fluffer.
My good friend
That's
Jay.
right.
I think I would like to be a puppet fluffer. That would be fun.
My good friend Jay, who
Now I would like to be a puppet.
Shep, you could come be a puppet. I still have that puppet. It was a feature on our puppet episode of our other podcast.
All right, another thing added to the list. Got it.
Oh, we should do it. Shep, you and me.
Let's do it.
You be the puppet.
I will dangle from my strings.
I'm sorry.
Me and
I'm
my
sorry.
fancy things.
I'm sorry, John. Go ahead.
Oh, no. You're fine. Listen, we're going to set this up. We're going to do this. My buddy Jay, who actually works with us in another podcast, he used to be the puppeteer. And he used to make that thing sing so much.
Of course.
You
But
knew how to touch the puppet just right to make it sing. Wow. I must learn from that master.
oh, he's talent, real talent. But that was just one type of war. And I think before we really get into like what are all the different kind of subcategories, I mean like what the subcategories are and like where it links up and what it's all about, I think we should go into just some of the different types of war. Let's talk about the Vore I just talked about is typically named soft Vore. It didn't involve like, blood and guts like a scene from Jaws. Hard Vore is a little typically, it's just like hardcore and softcore pornography, if you're not familiar with that. Soft Vore is usually very playful. There's no blood. Yeah, the girls are in peril, but it's very much like nothing grotesque is happening. Hard Vore, on the other hand, gets a little more graphic, and you fall into categories of anal Vore, which is exactly what you think it is. It's reverse eating. It's reverse pooping. Typically, very popular with the gay
A little bit of fisticuffs, would you say, is going on there?
Oh yeah, it starts with fisticuffs and ends with toe cuffs. And then unbirthing, which is as charming as it actually sounds. You were being eaten by a vagina, which is kind of like role reversal.
Hopefully, it's a gumming vagina, not a teethy one.
It's usually a soft one. It usually sometimes
gummy.
Getting gummed to death by a vagina here.
I have a new way to die now.
There's also same size Vore, which is like I'm a person, full size, normal person, and I'm going to eat Miss Rebecca, and I don't mean like in the lovely wrap your legs around my
got my
head.
hopes up.
I know. I'm sorry, but I'm actually going to consume
Tease.
you as a person, and then my belly is going to be big and bloated. Great point of reference. If you want to see a scene very similar to that, have you guys ever seen Men in Black 2?
Yes.
When Laura Flynn Boyle's alien character lands and that biker takes her around the corner and she eats them and she comes out and she has that big bloated belly, that's actually very sexually charging for a lot of Vore fans, is to see the content in the stomach and like the expressed belly coming out, which usually coincides with like pregnancy fetish. They don't so much have a pregnancy fetish as they have that belly fetish of like, I've just eaten something big and it has filled my stomach cartoon size. And that can work with wherever you're getting consumed by, whatever orifices is consuming you. Ends with the big belly.
No, listeners, some of us do not agree with the Dotero view of pregnant women look like cartoon-sized women.
Yeah,
I
was
know.
just gonna let that one go.
Listen, I am not.
I couldn't do it.
I'm not saying
Thank you,
that all
Chef. I
pregnant
appreciate
women
that.
look like that. Okay, don't at me on Twitter saying I think pregnant women look like cartoon fat people. I am saying the emphasize of the. I'm just, you know what? No, Rebecca, please take over. I am currently voring on my own foot.
I am loving watching you dig yourself into this hole.
I'm just eating my foot. That's what I'm starting. I'm self-voring.
You're self-boring. Just wrapping.
Moving
Self-glorification
on.
demonstration. Is that a thing?
I don't know. If it's
It
not, we
sounded
need to
almost
make-
scientific and real.
Now, another type of very popular vore, and this is an episode we covered before, is giantess.
Mm.
Oh,
Where
I remember that. I remember watching that episode.
the little
yeah.
people get eaten by the big people. And that's very popular. In fact, I did one of those using green screen. She actually ate a miniature version of herself. She was holding her, and we used green screen, and we made it, and she was like, "Ah, no, don't eat me!"
When I did my research, because I didn't know anything about it, I have not come across anybody that was into it. Now, they might have been into this, and I did not know, and that, perfectly. That's
You have the
fine.
face of, now I know too much, and I can never unknow it.
I do know I am learning. That's what this podcast is about. I am learning about new things, and so this is something that now I know about the whole predator prey aspect. So when I was first researching it, and I was watching these videos, and I was reading these articles, I was very overwhelmed and confused because I was like, why? I don't understand. Like I don't understand because it's not something that I have ever been in contact with. And then when they put it in the predator prey aspect, especially the prey, when they're like, I love to be imagine being consumed, because it's very comforting and warm when you finally get consumed. And then the predator, I was like, when you're putting it that way, then it's easy for me to transition into the subdom aspect. And so that it made a little bit more sense to me. I was like, oh, okay, now I get why they are into this, why this part, like, it's not as scary and overwhelming. If you just go on the internet and research it, it becomes a little scary, trust me, because that's what I did. But if you just sit back and try to and make that comparison, it becomes less overwhelming and more tangible and realistic, and that you can get into it. So I can see being a warm weighted blanket. I feel like that. I mean, that turns me on, is a nice warm weighted blanket. Yeah,
Warm, wet, weighted blanket.
Warm weighted
wet.
blanket.
Warm wet.
Because I would imagine just being there. No, I mean,
Wet
I was
might
gonna-
feel a little awkward after a while.
Yeah. Because then you have to go, why is this wet?
I mean,
And then the
depends on
cool
what I'm
breeze.
doing in the blanket.
Yeah, it all depends. But that was actually what I was
No, it
going to talk
depends
about
for me,
next.
thank you.
And I think you did a great job explaining that whole process of like the prey and the predator. And yeah, it is very much the number one paired fetish with this is BDSM. It's just I want to give myself, I want to be prey because I want somebody to want me enough to want to eat me. I mean, that's how we feel about babies all the time. We're like, oh, I'm going to eat your face. Ah, it's cute. And maybe somewhere in that line, along the line in the back of your head, that's always formed, and you equate that with love. Someone wants you to be nourishment. I'm going to nourish myself on you.
I also read a line that said some of them think it's the ultimate sacrifice. The ultimate. And I was like, that I connected with. That's that whole trust, that complete, the complete trust of somebody that I am giving my entire self to you. And that made sense to me because as a sub, that I get that I understood. I can't understand being the predator. I'm like, I've hit my calorie goals for the day, but to give the ultimate sacrifice, and that was I was like, that almost makes it beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Like that almost
Yeah,
makes
no, I get that. Me, on the other hand, I could always eat. Yeah, I'm always a little peckish.
Can you now?
Yes. No, but I mean, I think, and that's one reason, like, the quicksand and the Vore, that's one reason because I have the quicksand fetish and I went over to Vore because one, it's less messy, but it had that same, ultimate sacrifice kind of deal. So you're right on the money, like 100%. You nailed it. So from now on, you are our resident Vore professional because you got the mindset. No, you actually 100% have that mindset down pat, and that's pretty accurate. Too.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I'm beauty and brains. Look at that.
I know, right? You're the whole package. Another thing that goes along with this fetish a lot of times is the foot fetish. We talked about that recently. When I was making videos, I would do a lot of customs, and the number one request is always make sure you get a close up on their feet. Usually it's the last thing to be eaten. So there's a moment where you only see feet hanging out of whatever's being eaten. So it's just, you see that person in their most vulnerable state, and it's just that object.
I'm sorry.
No, that made my day.
He's boring. As
You
we speak.
leaning
I am
away.
boring. I am like eating. I'm sorry for all
Yeah.
of you that can't see us. I have not eaten today, so I'm eating, and I was like shoving things in my face as he was explaining it. And I'm like,
She was really
Just-
getting into the character.
I
She is.
was.
She is
consuming my
trying to
dinner.
learn what it's like to be a predator.
Reverse shop of horrors.
I am trying to switch it up a little bit. Try new things.
Yeah.
Consume.
But yeah, this is very much potentially sexual cannibalism, or all manners of form. And like I said, there's so many different types of it, and usually people are very precise in what they like. But some people just, this is one of those fetishes where, you know, like, I have a very niche market, but the people who enjoyed that niche enjoyed all of it. Does that make sense? Like, this is one of those things where a lot of people liked every aspect of it. Like when we talked about the pantyhose fetish or the foot fetish, everyone had very particular things they liked. Mm-hmm. Like, oh no, I like this and only this, and I'm very narrow-minded in this very broad fetish. When I was producing this content, I saw a lot of people who enjoyed all the content. Like, they weren't just in one niche. They had a favorite, but they really just, Vore is Vore, and I enjoy Vore.
Which is interesting because Vore is so, there's a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you wouldn't think, but there it is. There's a lot. It's very broad. The breadth and depth of this fetish is just actually astounding. And to say that, oh, they don't just like one, they like it all is actually sort of impressive.
What it really boils down to, and it's not so much they like it all, they like everything within their subcategory of soft Vore or hard Vore. And one of the things I highly suggest, if you're doing internet searches for this, which I hope you do, like I always hope people go out and research stuff after we talk about it, because we only have like 30 minutes and there's so much more we can't talk about. Start with soft Vore. Search that up. You'll be a little less shocked. And then work your way into, you know, the hard Vore and the more grotesque stuff. Of course, you know, this stuff is always applied in movies. You know, every time Jaws, anytime there's a Predator movie and somebody gets eaten, I've been on Vore forums where I've seen clips from every horror movie imaginable.
Invasion of the Pod or the Body Snatchers. I think that was one.
No, I didn't see that one as much. I'll tell you what, one scene I saw a ton was Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, I think it was, where Freddy turns into a worm and starts eating this girl.
Yeah.
I see that clip a lot. I see clips from, oh man, we're getting some rain here. Sorry, I was literally like, what is that noise? And I heard some rain.
Nothing here, and you're not that far. Oh well.
But yeah, this is a massive fetish, and I don't want to say it's a kink. I mean, I think this is more of a fetish than a kink. I think
Yes.
you're either, this is hardwired in your brain, or you're just like, about it. Does that make sense?
And no matter what, you should just look into it, because we all wonder, for what is it good for?
He wins puns. He's got
my
the
God.
puns. I'm done. I can't make another one.
Just when I think I can't fall any deeper in love with you, Shep. There
know.
you go.
Absolutely nothing.
Also, furries. I wanted to talk about furries with this fetish. It's very common to have this fetish blend with furries. and which already works on the predator prey kind of system. You looked something up, didn't you, Miss Rebecca?
No. Shep is being naughty in the chat, and by naughty, he's making me laugh.
I see no chat. Hold on, is it
It's in
Discord?
yeah. Oh.
All right, this is where we're going to talk about this. You made the joke, Shep, about becoming poopy. Digestion viewing is very popular, especially in Japanese versions of anime, where they
It wasn't
cut.
a joke. It was helping you segue. See,
Oh yeah,
I'm
this
doing
was
my
a
job.
segue.
And I giggled like a
I know.
Segue through your
at the word
pathways.
poopy.
You giggled about the poopy, which
I
don't get me
did.
wrong.
It was the poopy. It was the word poopy.
I know. The word poopy is always funny, but this is actually
You
very
had me
common
at
to
poopy.
watch the inside of the stomach start to digest. I've seen this a lot in Japanese. They do what like I like to call live action anime, when they're all dressed like anime characters or superheroes, and they're always fighting some like monster. So like imagine like Sailor Moon versus a monster from Power Rangers, except that monster has the ability to eat them. And a lot of times the vines are all wrapping around them as it's dragging their mouth, ripping their clothes. And then they get in the slimy stomach, and you can see their clothes start to become more and more tattered. And it's actually very, very popular to watch digestion. I particularly don't care for it because all I can think about is how things are not digesting in my stomach and how fair that, I swallow a penny, it stays a penny forever. This thing swallowed a fully dressed girl and it dissolves everything. So I can't process corn and nuts. This monster can, digest leather and pleather.
That's why it's a monster.
I know.
And
But,
I think I have the another perfect movie for this scenario. The Thing.
No,
Because The Thing absorbed all the people that it consumed.
you're thinking about The Blob.
Oh, no. There's a Thing as well.
I know the movie The Thing, but you never really get to see it. The Blob is actually very popular.
Isn't that a
because-
type of Vore too? Where I read that as well. Did we go over that?
We haven't yet.
No. Okay,
but
but
yeah.
that's a type of one. I did my research.
I'm so happy you spent the week looking at Vore porn, and that just makes me so happy.
And I did.
The research students are so happy when they're validated. Oh,
Right? No, The Blob is very much a Vore heavy.
Do I get a
tale.
gold star?
Always. I mean, you get a gold star for many things. And if you want to
Give
see
me two, and I'll
what,
put them over my nipples and make them pasties.
I was about to say, if you really want to see what, go to our Patreon. We'll see what we do with those gold stars. No, but that's very keen in the digestion and being consumed. It's very visible. It's still like I'm struggling to get out and I'm being digested. So yeah, that does fall under the category of digestion Vore and blob Vore, pretty much like gelatinous materials. Likes. What was they called in? Was it likes in Legend of Zelda? I think so. They suck you up and take stuff from you. Sorry, I've been playing a lot of Legend of Zelda lately. So
I see the connection in all of this. And this is my opinion. Definitely, I could be 100% wrong. Is all of this is very much about connecting with people, like whoever, whatever it is making that connection, being all consuming. Does that make any type of sense? Like, I can see the appeal of being consumed or being absorbed because you become a part of that person, and it's very intimate in a way. If you think about it, it is very intimate when you join with something or someone. That is a very intimate thing.
no, you're right on the money. And unfortunately, this is one of those fetishes where a lot of it has to be role play. or like drawings. Because, like I said, I can eat you all day, but I can't actually eat you. So it is very much like, well, I
I
can't.
feel like you would get lockjaw after a few hours.
Yeah, I am not a boa constrictor. I cannot unhinge my jaw.
You can use some fun pickup lines too, like, "Would you be my poopy baby?"
What? No. I'd be like, you're looking. Come on now. If we're going to do Vore pickup lines, you're looking absolutely scrumptious tonight.
I could eat you alive.
Yeah. I was like, I just want to eat you up. Ow.
Reminds me of Coming to America, the bar scene. I want to eat you up. And your friend, too.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, this is one of those things. Now, of course, you can do soft Vore. Like we used to film it with the puppet and all that, and you can absolutely have some fun with that.
Of course, you start off and say, "Hello, puppet."
Hello, puppet. Now comes the point where we're like,
always greet your puppet.
Now comes the moment where we discuss, would you do it? And I'm going to hear from Shep first. Shep,
would your puppet play with my Muppet?
Yes. Would you participate in this fetish? If someone wanted to role play either being eaten by you or them eating you, or they wanted to do like the Vore puppet, would this be a fetish that you'd be willing to do for your partner?
If it remained on the, the tamer side of things, I don't think I would go too far down this rabbit hole, but I'd experience the types that my other half went through.
We can arrange that 100%.
Oh, I know.
Come over here.
You guys have the puppet, probably.
We can absolutely feed you to the planet.
We should do that.
We are going to do that. I will tell you that. If we're ever in the same room together, after this COVID is over, I'm feeding you both to the puppet.
Sweet. I'll be waiting in the
going on the
Patreon.
Patreon.
100% is going on the Patreon.
You'll get to see what happens in the roots.
What about you, Miss Rebecca? Would you participate in this fetish?
I was very back and forth because I knew that you were going to ask this question. Because when I first, I do have to say, I was a little put off by it because I was seeing a lot of the hard Vore. I was not seeing a lot of the soft Vore. The deeper I got into the soft Vore.
Yeah.
I think if it were soft Vore, I think I would do it. I would let the puppet
If it was soft
me.
Vore, she'd want to be in it.
Absolutely. And
I don't think I could do the hard Vore. Just for me,
no, and you know what? That's perfectly fine. The one thing about this fetish podcast is, we're never going to condone. I mean, we're never going to kink shame by any means. We don't have to be into everything. And, if you're into it, absolutely, I love you for it. Because I don't know. I don't know if I could really, I think it may be because like I worked in it a lot. But either way, I don't see it as a sexual thing whatsoever. And I think a lot of that had to do is we filmed stuff. We were filming every week, doing it and all that. And like I said, there are aspects that I really enjoy. But as far as like,
so you like the aspects?
Oh yeah, dude, there's awesome butt shots. I'm
know.
gonna tell you right now, awesome butt shots.
I think I would never be. I could tell you this, that if I were to ever participate in it, I would never be the predator. I would always be the one being consumed. I think it's just my sub nature. I don't think I could ever. I don't think I could ever dominate.
You could never be our puppet.
I could never be your puppet.
Well, we'll work on that. We'll get you
pull
there.
my
You
strings
can be
another
my
way.
puppet.
I do like to pull the strings. Yeah.
You can use the strings in other ways.
Ooh, I like that.
There ain't no strings on me.
So I think it really wraps up this fetish. There is a lot of extreme to it, but it's one of those things where a lot of it is very cheeky and fun. And as it's not my kink, and not particularly my fetish, I do really appreciate it as a fetish. And, we're going to have fetishes like that. Just like when we did the cock torture, ball busting episode. There's no way I'm trying that. But I'm not going to shame anybody who is into that. That's perfectly fine.
You would take it from me.
I know.
Man.
I mean, listen, you guys bust my balls on a daily basis. I don't need it I don't need that to be part of my sexual activities.
But that was my flirt with you.
I
That
know.
was our thing.
It was our
What's
thing.
happened
And
to you?
Listen, I'm always into it when it's you. You get a free pass.
Oh. Well.
But I think it's time to spin our wheel.
Spin the wheel.
My wheel is certainly spinning. Yes.
Let's bring up the
Let's spin it.
wheel.
Am I on the wheel?
You're always on the wheel.
Oh, yay.
On the wheel full of appeal.
Let's see what we're talking about next week. Oh, we're going to Browntown.
Oh, we are.
We are going straight to Browntown. We're going to talk about anal stimulation,
be
butt
poopy.
play, butt plugs. We're all about the bunghole next episode, and I'm real excited about that. That's going to be a fun topic.
As long as we don't call it the bunghole. Are
We
you
won't.
like
I
a-
promise. On that
Are
episode,
you like a 13-year-old boy? Please.
I promise.
Please
on that
don't
episode,
say that because
I will
he will pull his shirt over his head and say, "I am
I am
the
cornholio."
Holio. I need TP for my bunghole.
Bungholio. Yes.
I can't. That is
I
all I can
promise
think
Because we
I
about.
need
will
some
only
TP for
refer
that
to it
bunghole.
as the butt soles. Pays a little extra attention to your butt soles. No, we're going to talk about anal stimulation, analingus, all the butt stuff we're going to get to next week, and that's going to be a great episode.
Yay.
We're
Butt stuff.
definitely going blue on
Ooh.
that one. Because,
I worked very hard on my butt.
well, we're going to talk to you
Happy
about how
trails
we
and
would like to work
crappy
hard
trails.
on your
Oh,
butt.
butt trails.
Oh,
Ooh.
fantastic.
So, as always, join us next week. Oh. As I always say at the end of the episode, kink responsibly. Well, guess what? Now, everyone can kink responsibly. If you pay attention to our Twitter and find us on social media, or even link below in this podcast, you'll find a link to our merch store that has a kink responsibly t-shirt, stop kink shaming, and kinky, not easy shirt. And I love all of it. They're such badass shirts.
I totally got one of the stop kink shaming.
Stop kink shaming.
No
But
kink shaming.
so everybody here, kink responsibly. Check out our Patreon. Follow us on social media. Buy a t-shirt. Help support this podcast so we can keep making episodes so I can eventually pay these people who come on
Because
here.
I'd like to
every
get a
week.
pedicure.
We got to make her feet pretty for Vore and more feet stuff. And apparently we're going to have to bleach her butthole for next episode. So
Very
my.
good care of my hole. Thank you.
as always, I'm your host.
Did you say ass ahoy?
Your
As
face.
Holio. I'm your host, John Dondero, and with me, the immaculate butthole of Miss Rebecca.
I said immaculate hole. I never said which one.
But it'd be forever known as the immaculate butthole of Miss Rebecca.
Good night.
And of course, the very punny Mr. Shep.
Ass ahoy! We go to plunder.
All right, guys. We'll see you next
Good
time.
night.
Good night.